Hello and welcome to Smaulgld's Central Bank of Russia Gold Reserve Update for the month of October 2018. Russia adds record amount of gold to reserves in 2018. The Russian Central Bank gold reserves rose to 2,065 tons in October. They did that by adding 900,000 ounces of gold, or 27.9 tons of gold to reserves. Russian gold reserves are now the fifth largest in the world. Remember, last year, Russia added a record 224 tons of gold to reserves, and through October, Russia has now added 227 tons of gold to reserves, a new record. At the current pace, the Central Bank of Russia may add over 270 tons of gold to reserves, and since June 2015, the Central Bank of Russia has added nearly 760 tons of gold to reserves. Overall, Russian reserves rose from 459.1 billion in September to 459.5 billion in October. Russian U.S. Treasury holdings have dipped dramatically over the past year. They're down under $14 billion as of August 2018, and they had been as high as 85-90 billion earlier in the year, and as early as April 2018 we're at 48.1 billion. All that gold, those Russian gold reserves, are worth 81.055 billion, and that stack constitutes 17.6% of overall Russian reserves. There's your Smaulgld mugs. Okay, well, let's take a look at some of the charts we have, and later on tonight we'll be going through this in more detail on the Smaulgld live stream that we have each and every night at 8 p.m. on YouTube. Here you see the Central Bank of Russia's gold reserves from June 2015 to October 2018, rising from 1,281 tons all the way up to 2,065 tons. That's an addition of about 785 tons. This chart shows you Russian additions and subtractions to gold reserves from 1994 to 2018. You see they got real serious about adding gold starting around 2010. There had been a period of time in the late 90s, early 2000s where Russia was actually a net gold seller, even though Russia is a major gold producer. If you're interested in buying gold, you can do so at the Smaulgld links, the affiliate links at Golden Eagle Coin, SD Bullion, Money Metals Exchange. You click on those links, you visit those sites, you pay no more, no less than if you visit them directly, and Smaulgld does get a small commission, not an investment advice to buy or sell gold, but if you're interested in buying, please consider shopping at those sites. And let's take a look now at Russian monthly gold purchases between June 2014 and October 2018. You can see many months where Russia has added 1 million or more ounces of gold to reserves, just shy of that in October, where they only added 900,000 ounces. And from this chart from June 2014 to October 2018, this represents 31.7 million ounces, or nearly 1,000 tons, 986 tons. Where does that put Russia in the overall league tables for the top 10 gold holding countries? Well, that puts Russia at number 5, ahead of China. Russia's 2,065 tons is ahead of China's People's Bank of China. That's not all of the gold that's in China, and nor is this all the gold that's in Russia. These are the central bank's gold holdings. So Russia's in 5th place with 2,065, just behind France and Italy, who both have about 2,400 tons. United States, 8,133 tons. Now, we used to track Russian gold reserves versus the Chinese People's Bank of China's gold reserves. The People's Bank of China stopped reporting adding gold reserves in October of 2016, so this chart does not go any further. But when both countries were reporting, Russia, the Central Bank of Russia, was adding gold to reserves at a much faster pace. And here are Russian gold reserves versus, or additions to gold reserves versus their mining production. The blue column is how many tons they've produced a year since 2006, and then how many tons they've added to reserves. And you can see in recent years they're adding a decent amount, or decent percentage, upwards of 75-80% of their gold mining productions directly to their gold reserves. And as a chart showing, the red here is the U.S. Treasuries held in dollar amount versus their dollar amount worth of gold. And you can see as of May, when they dropped their treasuries down, their gold reserves are now a lot higher worth more, a lot more in value in notional dollars than their treasuries. But for the longest period of time, even though they were adding gold, they still held a significant amount of treasuries, no more. And here is your Russian reserve asset table. You can see they've increased their reserves, about 24-25% since early 2016, from 371 billion and to 459 billion. They've done that by adding a lot of reserves, not just gold, but they're re-establishing the mix. Even though they have sold off their U.S. treasuries, their overall reserve position did not decline as a result. They didn't just they didn't sell treasuries and buy gold. They just continued to buy gold. They just reallocated their treasury position. It looks like they put a lot of that just into just currencies as opposed to U.S. treasuries. And that about does it. So please make sure you join us tonight. If you like these types of reports, please consider becoming a Smaulgld patron. You can do that by clicking on the link below this BitChute or this YouTube. Also consider getting yourself a Smaulgld mug. You can get them in beer steins. They come in travel mugs. They come in classic and super classic mugs. And also please shop at the Smaulgld affiliates. We have Blackout Coffee and Koa Coffee, which is 100% Kona coffee from Hawaii, for your Smaulgld mugs. Thank you very much for listening.